What's going on, boxing fans? I'm back here with another video here for you guys. Going to be giving an Intel deep breakdown on what I believe is going to be able to go down in the PBC Amazon Prime pay-per-view here, set with a few rematches and a headlining coming back return of a legend, that being of Manny Pacquiao, coming back and being in the boxing ring. Four fights are going to be on the main card, and we start off with the first fight, that being Brandon Figueroa and him returning, going against Joet, my bad, Gonzalez. Joet Gonzalez is a pretty much stepping stone type of fight to be able to get yourself back into rhythm, especially for Brandon Figueroa. Last time out, his matchup in the rematch against Stephen Fulton, where he got completely outclassed in that one, made look like an absolute fool. Uh, Figueroa, having his longer reach, being a more rangier fighter, has a little bit of pop, but really relies on the volume and the Mexican style that he brings, just coming forward and breaking fighters, really in the role that he has done throughout the majority of his career in boxing. Him having that loss and just completely getting shut out in that one. A guy like Joet Gonzalez, excuse me again, who lost to guys like Shakur Stevenson, Emmanuel Navarrete, Issac Dogbo, Luis Alberto Lopez. He's coming off a split decision win against Arnold Kagai. Not much to be able to say because I don't even know who that dude is, even though he has a pretty decent record. I believe he's like undefeated, or he had like one loss or a draw. Anyways, this one is a certified tune-up, bounce back, get yourself back into rhythm, get yourself back into winning ways and momentum for Brandon Figueroa to get himself out of the rut of him looking so bad against Stephen Fulton, to be able to get himself back into contention in his division. So I think this is going to be an easy road win for Brandon Figueroa. Probably he's going to knock this dude out, or he's just going to completely dominate him through a unanimous decision. And moving on up the card, we got an absolute classic the first time out, and I'm hoping and praying that we're going to be able to get that one more time again. Issac Cruz versus Angel Ferrero. Man, Angel Ferrero, man, is just, it really showed me that I don't know nothing about boxing. And also, as well, styles do 100% make matchups. This one coming in, I thought was going to be an Isaac Cruz, easy type of victory to be able to, if you want to be able to use the pun, cruise his way to a victory, an easy victory, and get himself back into winning ways after the loss to Jose Valenzuela. But Angel Ferrero, man, what a dude, man. What heart and determination that he showed in there, taking all that punishment terms in the first few rounds and giving it right back to Isaac Cruz, landing a lot of shots that hurt and wobbled Isaac Cruz and had him in a lot of trouble. They went to a draw, which, I mean, not surprising. I mean, looking at the fighting style that Isaac Cruz has, and him just being a dude that's not caring about defense at all and is just in there to be in a phone booth, to walk you down, break you with pressure, land nasty power shots, and get you out of there the way that he usually does. Angel Ferrero just matching that up with the type of intensity and heart that he has is incredible. I do think that it's going to be another close physical matchup that we got in the first fight. I'm not expecting any type of change-ups in terms of their styles and the way that they actually look in terms of strategy in this matchup again. Maybe we'll get a little bit more body work, maybe a little bit of different type of shot selections in terms of where they're in their range in terms of the Mexican style, right in the phone booth. I'm going to go with Isaac Cruz in this one. He's the odds-on favorite, even though, again, this should be a very close matchup the way that Angel Ferrero looked in their first matchup. So, no doubt about it, I'm not counting Angel Ferrero out at all. It's just that it's an easier route, and especially knowing boxing and the politics and the way scorecards goes, the bigger name and the bigger stars obviously are always going to get the lean on into, them getting the nod in certain matchups and certain fights. I don't have to wink, wink. I don't have to, do all these shenanigans. As boxing fans, we all know this to be true. and it usually always happens. So on with my, going with the favorite in this one, I'm going to go with Issac Cruz in a split decision or a majority decision where it's going to be very, very close and competitive one more time again. I think we got another classic on our hands with that one. And moving on to the co-main event, we got another rematch. This time, I believe in the super welterweight division, that being the light middleweight division. I don't know what you want to be able to call that, but the 154-pound division between Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fendor. And since the loss to Sebastian Fendor, Tim Tszyu lost to Bacquiao Murtazayev, where he got completely outclassed and knocked unconscious. But after that, he got a nice TKO victory over Joey Spencer, where he looked like back to his own self, really got some confidence back into his ways. And Sebastian Fendor really just took care of business, where he got a TKO victory, just trying to be able to stay busy against Chordell Booker. First matchup was super, super competitive, a bloodbath, as we want to be able to say, because these guys were spilling buckets of blood all over the arena. I mean, it was just an unsurmountable savagery of a war between these two guys, both of them wanting to be able to do so. Fendor using his range and his height as well as he does, and especially carrying the type of power in his hands, even though he's looking like a goddamn string being in there, and creating a lot of issues and problems in terms of the reach advantage, even though he doesn't use that into his real weaponry as much as I believe he should. The more he's able to do that, the easier the fights are going to be able to be for him. And Tim Tszyu, being Tim Tszyu, he brings his style. He comes in and he does what he usually normally does, brings in that pressure. Defensively, can be very irresponsible and gets touched up way too many more times that I believe that he actually should be able to get touched up. But it is what it is. That's what he usually does when he comes into these fights. Carries some good power, can be able to touch you and hurt you, and really just a clash of styles where these two guys met at each other, where it really was a very entertaining fight. But the real big issue that I had, and not just in trying to be able to predict this one, I do think that the cut that Tim Tszyu got in that first fight was a very, very big hindrance, where it obviously was hurting his vision as well. You can be able to say the same thing with Fendor, but he didn't have that type of cut where it was really going into his eyes and had him worse for wear. He was even pawing at it in the Murtazayev matchup, where there was no blood coming down, and it had him really just thinking about it's actually coming down, but it really is not that being blood. Not talking about a period, because, Tim Tszyu is a guy, he's not a woman. Anyways, and Tim Tszyu, man, I do think that he does have a lot of talent. He has a lot of things like going for him. But, I mean, he got viciously KO'd by Bacquiao. He got a good win over Joey Spencer. But Joey Spencer, even though he was a young prospect coming up and he was looking really good early in his career, being that type of dude that potentially could be get a huge backing, but then he eventually got a loss, and he kind of just like middled himself out, and he's not the name or the prospect that everybody believed he could be able to potentially get his potential to in the future as of right now. And Fendor, I don't think that he's the greatest as well. I mean, this one's tough because I think both of these guys are pretty decent. They're good fighters. I'm gonna go with. Damn, this one's hard. I'm gonna go with Sebastian Fendor on this one. I was actually leaning my way more toward Tim Tszyu. I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Tszyu pulled it off. I just think that Fendor is gonna be coming in here with a smarter, more strategic, better game plan than Tim Tszyu is going to do. I think Tim Tszyu just goes in there and just thinks about, this is what I am, this is what I'm going to do, and and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't work, then it is what it is. It would serve Tim Tszyu a lot better to be able to work the body a lot more. He has those openings. He has that type of capability and power to be able to really slow Fendor down, especially with his movement and his range, and really make things mucky and very, dirty in terms of the boxing instead of it being very technical and clean. He has those capabilities. He can be able to do those things. I just trust Sebastian Fendor more, even though I don't really rate him as a very highly rated champion as of right now. I just think Fendor and him not, having a KO loss like Tim Tszyu has. And while Trudell Booker is, again, a stay busy fight for him, a mandatory that he got out of the way. It is what it is. I'm going to go with Sebastian Fendor on this one by a split decision. Very close. Another competitive fight between those two. And now moving on to the main event, and we got the return of Manny Pacquiao to the ring versus Mario Barrios. Man, this one's hard to predict because both of these guys, especially as of right now, are very much so mid. Manny Pacquiao is definitely not in his prime anymore. He is 46 years old. Last time he fought was in 2021 against Yordenis Ugas, who was a replacement because it was supposed to be Errol Spence going against Manny Pacquiao. And if Spence got his hands on Pacquiao on that one before the car accident and all the things happening to Errol Spence Jr., I think Spence would have taken he would have had a body bag with him if that was Manny Pacquiao, that version against him in that matchup. Ugas completely outboxed the head off of Pacquiao in their matchup when they went against each other. And it's been 4 years since Manny Pacquiao has entered the ring. And again, like I said earlier, he's 46 years old. Definitely not in his prime anymore. Do I think he can be able to crack? I mean, I know he's had a few like exhibition fights here and there. I just I don't know. I can understand why. I mean, the love of the game, the money, being on that stage, not wanting to be able to miss out and all these other things. But I mean, Manny, dude, like, and the thing is, I'm like sighing and complaining as of right now, but I completely understand as to why this guy is doing it. Mario Barrios is one of the easiest champions in any weight class into boxing as of right now to be able to beat. I mean, Mario Barrios, he lost to guys like Gervonta Tank Davis, which, I mean, it is what it is. He was actually up on that fight and actually taking control, and if it went to the scorecards, potentially would have been able to win out that one against Tank Davis, but he got knocked out eventually to the body. And after that, he got a matchup against Keith Thurman where he got completely outclassed in that one. And then after that, he was on a 3-fight win streak before his draw last time out against Abel Ramos. And his best win in that 3-fight win streak was against Yordenis Ugas, where he completely, he just, made a mess of Ugas in that one. And it is kind of, crazy to be able to say because Ugas, that coming off that loss, I think, against Errol Spence Jr., and just literally 2 years before that, he had the win against Manny Pacquiao, what really stamped his name as potentially one of the best fighters to be able to not to be able to do it, but in the time that he was doing it. The thing is with Mario Barrios, man, is just he's very inconsistent. He's very much so mid. Understandably so, he took the matchup against Manny Pacquiao because Pacquiao's definitely not in his prime. He's definitely an older guy, big money fight, big name, and big stage as well. I mean, having that on his resume, even though that Manny Pacquiao is an older guy, it being Mario Barrios, it is a big name and claim to your legacy if you want to be able to have a name like a Manny Pacquiao on your resume. I mean, Barrios, last time out, he had the matchup against Abel Ramos, what I said already beforehand, which was a draw. I think he dominated early, got a knockdown. He thought it was probably going to be easy work after that because Abel Ramos has been around the block and he's not really, that good to be able to be honest about what Abel Ramos is. And it's just he just petered out after that one. He got knocked down in that fight too as well. He got beat up. I mean, in terms of the top elite competition, Mario Barrios is obviously not up to that caliber, especially in the welterweight division. He's not beating a guy like Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney, Shakur. Well, no, Shakur's not in this division, but Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, all these guys in the welterweight division as of right now, I think are putting a whooping. Even guys like Conor Benn are putting a whooping on Mario Barrios. But I don't think that Manny Pacquiao is putting a whooping on Mario Barrios. If anything, I think Mario Barrios is putting a whooping on Manny Pacquiao. Again, love and respect to Manny Pacquiao. One of the biggest and best to be able to do it. Obviously, certified legend. He's a legend to be able to even put himself in this type of, scenario where he wants to be able to come back, wants to be a champion one more time again. And going against a guy like Mario Barrios is definitely able and capable to do it, especially with his southpaw stance. If he's able to get a big lead on this one, he will eventually fade later in the fight, 100%. Regardless of how good your cardio is, how many miles you're doing, at the age that he's going at, he will eventually, I think, falter in this one. And I think that Mario Barrios is unfortunately going to knock the head off of Manny Pacquiao and for sure set the sails gone for Manny Pacquiao to be able to fully, hopefully, retire from the game and not take any more punishment for himself. So I'm going to go with Mario Barrios in this one because I don't think he's a better fighter than Manny Pacquiao. I just think he's a better fighter than Manny Pacquiao right now. And again, he's very inconsistent, but there's times where he really shows up and he has really good performances, and there's times where he's up against higher level type of competitions or he's kind of asleep at the wheel and it kind of just goes away from him. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Mario Barrios in this one. I damn near said Manny Pacquiao. I'm gonna go with Mario Barrios in this one by getting a knockout in like the 8th or ninth round. Um, yeah, like this video if you obviously like this video, or if you don't like this video because obviously you're a Manny Pacquiao fan and you're seeing this and you're pissed about it. It is what it is. I understand, but you're here for a reason, and I'm here to be honest with you. Comment your opinions on what you think is going to be able to go down on this card between both of the rematches and the main event with Manny Pacquiao returning to be able to potentially get another championship belt on his waist again and maybe even revitalize himself in his career to be able to get more bigger matchups with his name, especially with the younger fighters that are in boxing as of right now. I don't think that he would want to be able to do it in terms of wanting to be getting hurt, but I mean, there are big names and there are young stars to make a lot of money still in boxing as of right now. And subscribe, boxing fans. If you love this type of content, you're here for a reason. And I love you for being here because you're awesome. You really are awesome. Thank you guys again for watching again, and peace.